Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
The car company Tesla has done a wonderful job of getting its customers to really like those products. And the amount of customer support they get is amazing, especially considering how little they advertise, because they don't advertise. Tesla just builds a product and it sells, and people love those products. And so the customer loyalty to Tesla is amazing. It's off the charts. In fact, I've got a Tesla on the set now. That red car is a Tesla. And it was sent to me with a note by somebody who says, oh, by the way, I like your show. Now, here's the thing. I could be reading into that, but I think the person who sent me the car may have been under the misapprehension that I don't like Tesla. And unfortunately, if I did a video where I simply said Tesla makes electric cars and ended it, I'd get complaints. Because there's people out there who just have a response that they're so used to people attacking Tesla, they assume that everything out there is attacking Tesla. And I'm not attacking Tesla, but I've done a couple stories recently about recalls and Tesla. And I've gotten some angry emails and some comments under videos where people say that Tesla's being treated unfairly. They're being treated unfairly. And one of the stories I talked about was how the federal government, NHTSA, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, has said that there was a safety issue that Tesla identified that could be fixed with an over-the-air update. And Tesla went ahead and did the fix. And the federal government complained about that, and I'll explain that in a second. But they complained about that. And I did a video where I said, by the way, Tesla had this problem, and they fixed it, and the government is now upset because they didn't go through the specific steps that are necessary and called for by federal regulations. And I had a lot of people who didn't understand what a recall is or what a recall does. And a lot of people have this misapprehension because when you think of a recall, you think of, oh, I get a card in the mail, I take my car to the dealership, they fix it and give it back to me, and I've just gone through a recall with my car. And that is not necessarily what a recall is. So let's talk about what a recall actually is so that we can settle this once and for all, and I can stop getting the comments and emails from people who say, Steve, they shouldn't have to do a recall for that. It can be fixed over the air. Yeah, recalls can be performed over the air. So there you go. So if you're curious about this, I'm not making this up. Go to the website, safercar.gov, safercar.gov, and they have a frequently asked questions page called Vehicle Recalls. Frequently asked questions. Your car is important to you, and your safety is important to us. But when your vehicle or motor vehicle equipment poses a safety risk to you, your passengers, or other motorists, then it can be recalled. Recalled. Find out how to know whether a safety recall has been issued on your car and what to do if you have a vehicle or motor vehicle safety problem. And you can go on the NHTSA website, type in your vehicle identification number, your VIN, and it will tell you if there's any recalls on your vehicle ever and whether they've been performed or not. So, what's a recall and when is it necessary? Who is your daddy and what does he do? A recall is issued when a manufacturer or NHTSA determines that a vehicle, equipment, car seat, or tire creates an unreasonable safety risk or fails to meet minimum safety standards. Whole bunch to unpack there. Let's start at the beginning. It can be issued when a manufacturer or NHTSA determines it. So occasionally, you'll hear where Ford Motor Company discovers there's a problem with their cars. They notify NHTSA, we found a problem. We're reporting it to you because we're required to by federal law. And then they go through the process of doing a recall. Or if NHTSA determines, and NHTSA actually has a complaint page where you can go onto the website and complain about your car and say, my car does this, my car does that, or this broke, that broke. And they track complaints. And so if they get a bunch of complaints about a certain make and model of car, they go, maybe there's a problem with that car. They'll start an investigation. And if the investigation shows something, they'll often report it to the manufacturer and go, we believe we found a problem. What do you think? So it could be the manufacturer or it could be NHTSA. Then it says that it could be one of two things, that it creates an unreasonable safety risk or it fails to meet minimum safety standards. And I'm not going to get into this, and some of this stuff is real wonky, but the idea, for instance, of like how you measure seatbelt anchors and whether or not they're appropriate. There's literally thousands of pages of regulations, I bet, on that. And it's crazy. But the point is that they look at risk and they look at safety standards. Then it says, manufacturers are required to fix the problem by repairing it, replacing it, offering a refund, or in rare cases, repurchasing a vehicle. So again, this is all a flow chart. So the recall gets issued if the manufacturer or NHTSA determines that there is an unreasonable safety risk or it fails to meet minimum standards. And then if there is that problem, then they must issue the recall, which means that they will fix the problem, replace the product, offer a refund, or in rare cases, repurchase the vehicle. So what we're going to talk about here is fix the problem by repairing it. A recall means that they will fix the problem by repairing it. Listen carefully. Does not say get in your car, drive to a dealership, make small talk with a service writer while you go sit in a room and eat popcorn and watch cable news. Doesn't say that. It literally says they will fix the problem by repairing it. Then it says where this all comes from. The United States Code for Motor Vehicle Safety, which is Title 49, Chapter 301, Title 49 of the U.S. Code, defines motor vehicle safety as the performance of a motor vehicle or motor vehicle equipment in a way that protects the public against unreasonable risk of accidents occurring because of the design, construction, or performance of a motor vehicle, and against unreasonable risk of death or injury in an accident, and includes non-operational safety of a motor vehicle. A defect includes any defect in performance, construction, a component, or material of a motor vehicle or motor vehicle equipment. Generally, a safety defect is defined as a problem that exists in a motor vehicle or item of motor vehicle equipment that poses a risk to motor vehicle safety and may exist in a group of vehicles of the same design or manufacturer or items of equipment of the same type and manufacturer. Notice that is an and versus the or earlier. So the problem, the defect, has got to do both. Pose a risk to motor vehicle safety, and it may exist in a group of vehicles. It's not a one-off. It's not just one vehicle or a couple vehicles. There's something wrong with a bunch of vehicles, okay? And if that's the case, they must fix the problem by repairing it. What does this mean to me? Frequently asked question. When your vehicle, equipment, car seat, or tire is subject to a recall, a safety defect has been identified that affects you. NHTSA monitors each safety recall to make sure owners receive safe, free, and effective remedies from manufacturers according to the Safety Act and federal regulations. If there is a safety recall, your manufacturer will fix the problem free of charge. Period. Full stop, as they say elsewhere. So they'll fix the problem free of charge, and they will fix the problem by repairing it. Again, no mention of the method of repair or the location of the repair. They have to fix it for free, but they have to fix it. That's all. How will I know if there's a recall? Frequently asked question. If you have registered your vehicle, your manufacturer will notify you if there's a safety recall by sending you a letter in the mail. Please do your part and make sure your vehicle registration is up to date, including your current mailing address. And yes, that's how they get the information. I've had people ask me, they say, Steve, I bought a used car. How would NHTSA or the manufacturer ever find me? Well, if you've registered your car and you got license plates on it, they actually will contact the 50 states and get the information through whoever it is that tracks license plates in that state. Michigan, Secretary of State, California, the DMV. And they'll simply say, we want to track down all of the owners and get the addresses of people who've got these cars. And they'll say the car, make, model, and that would be information that would be on your registration. So if you have registered your vehicle, they can find you. But getting back now to the issue with the over-the-air fix that Tesla has apparently done more than once. And by the way, there are a lot of things that can be done over the air. Not everything being done over the air is a quote-unquote fix. So, we talked not too long ago about the Mazdas up in, I believe, Washington that were stuck on one radio station. And they figured out what it was, and it had to do with some kind of signal that the radio station had sent out that contained an image that wasn't properly suffixed. And as a result of that, it caused the control center to go wonky because it didn't know what to do with this information, and it freaked out. And, so there is stuff that comes in over the air, and then also they can update software over the air. And so they might just say, oh, we're going to do an update the same way that like Windows updates every so often, or other things you run on your computer. I use Adobe Premiere to edit these videos, and they update that periodically, and they go, there's an update available. Oh, okay, and I click a button, and it updates. So we're not talking about the updates, we're talking about the safety issues. And so let's get back to the issue of Tesla. And let's say that they discovered a problem with their cars that technically meets this set of rules here, okay? It is something to do with safety, and it poses a risk to the motor vehicle safety, and it may exist in a group of vehicles. So they discovered a problem with the car that was software, and it can be fixed over the air. The allegation that NHTSA made a while back was that Tesla had spotted a problem that fit this criteria and said, oh, we've got a fix. And they pushed the fix out over the air and fixed it. And somebody somewhere said, they pushed a fix out over the air that was probably safety related. And NHTSA got involved and said, technically speaking, there's a process for doing that. Now, the process for doing that does not involve bringing your car to a dealership. What it involves is Tesla, the manufacturer, when they discover a problem like that, is supposed to contact NHTSA and say, hey, NHTSA, we've identified a problem that meets these criteria under this federal statute. We've also discovered a fix for it. So we'd like to do that. And NHTSA would then have said, thank you very much for reporting that, and let's go ahead and do that. Now, you might say, Steve, what's the difference if they report that or don't report that, because the net result to the consumer is identical? It might be. But I'm merely pointing out that the law exists and people are supposed to follow the law. But there actually is a purpose behind this. And the purpose is that NHTSA tracks recalls. And let's suppose that a couple years down the road from now, figuratively speaking, you buy a Tesla and it's got some weird problem. And you go to the NHTSA database to look up recalls, and what your car is doing is not among the recalls on the NHTSA database. But you later find out they pushed an over-the-air fix that was supposed to fix what your car has. Did your car get the over-the-air fix? Now, I'm not going to get into the science behind how these fixes work, but I have to imagine that there's a possibility somehow of a car being out there that doesn't get the over-the-air fix properly done. Let's suppose the car ran out of power and is bricked and is parked in a Faraday cage. It's possible. The point is that the government tracks these things, and you might not like the government tracking these things, but they're not tracking you, they're tracking the car. So I've mentioned before that I own a Ford Explorer, a 2002 Ford Explorer. Okay? I love that vehicle. I'm going to drive it till it literally asks me to take it to a junkyard. And it has had several recalls on it. I believe one in particular has to do with the cruise controls in the stalk of the shift of the, come out of the column, and whether or not what happens when you hit the brakes to shut off the cruise as opposed to shutting off the cruise control switch. And it's one of these things that I don't use, I don't care about. I almost never use cruise at all to begin with, but if I do, I shut it off the way I turn it on. But when I got this vehicle, I checked to see if the recalls were done on it. I said, yeah, it has been done. It was good to know. If it hadn't been done, number one, I'd know the car's got a problem that I can go get fixed for free. But number two, the previous owner didn't take care of it because he turned down free work. But the previous owner did get it done. So I know that some people out there who like Tesla are going to go, Steve, this is still stupid. It's stupid. If we find a problem, we fix it. Who cares? Well, unfortunately, all of the car companies are unhappy with the regulations out there. Okay, they complained and they pushed back on all kinds of things. There's a time when they wouldn't put seatbelts in cars. There's times when they wouldn't put airbags in cars. There's a time when they complained about bumper standards. Car companies are never happy with these things out there. So Tesla is not new at going, oh, we're upset with these federal standards. The federal standards are there. So if Tesla discovers a problem with the car that can be fixed over the air, and they want to push the fix right now, they actually had to pause for just a split second and send a quick note to NHTSA and say, we've got a problem with the car we can fix right now. Can we do it? And then do it. Now, I know some people will say, Steve, it's going to take 6 weeks for someone at NHTSA to get back to them. I don't know about that. Because again, remember that every time Elon Musk speaks, it makes headlines. So he could, if he wanted to, or have somebody underneath him, make a statement and say, we have an over-the-air fix we'd like to send to cars, and NHTSA is slowing us down here. And guess what would happen then? You better believe that NHTSA is going to stand up and go, no, guys, just do it. Just report it to us. And there's a bunch of forms you have to fill out. Paperwork. So the point is that NHTSA tracks this stuff, and they've been doing it for all the car companies for many, many years now. And Tesla is no different in the sense that they sell cars in America. They've got to abide by American law. So a recall does not mean that the car is being recalled to the dealership. A recall is a term of art, simply meaning that there's something with the vehicle that the manufacturer will repair at no cost to you that is a safety risk of some sort. Okay, so that's what a recall is, and ain't no one picking on Tesla. Certainly not me. In fact, I've got a Tesla on the set now. There you go. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. I have an answering machine in my car. It says, I'm home now, but leave a message and I'll call when I'm out.